I want to talk about the maybe the differences between materials. Like in your presentation yesterday, you were working and you were presenting fabric, metal, concrete. Uh, like it's like a lot of different materials, and I think that that's something very interesting from architects that we want to learn a lot about materials and how they behave and test them. And I'm very curious to see, like, in your experience from these past days working with bamboo, what's that thing that have been like, what's that insight from bamboo in compared to other materials?
I think the reason we're here
Mm.
is that we're very interested in the bend active qualities of
Mm-hmm.
bamboo, that you
Mm-hmm.
can have tension on one side and compression on the other side. And in a way, that's the most efficient
Yeah.
way of thinking about structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have done a really amazing experimentation with that. So we wanted to kind of see the details of it. How many rods are in a bundle? How do you connect them at the top? Is it one piece? Is it many pieces? How do you kind of just kind of use the material here? I think we've learned a lot just by observing what's
Mm-hmm.
being done here. And now the challenge we have, because in our workshop of the carpentry, we are just making objects
Uh-huh.
really, really intuitively, and kind of holding the black bamboo, which we love a lot. There's abstraction in the black bamboo,
Yeah.
and trying to think about how can we introduce more abstraction into the material,
Huh.
because often the material is considered, or it's perceived as a craft, which is it gives it certain
Comes with
aesthetics. And
connotations.
yeah,
Mm.
and we want to kind of see if we can expand the aesthetic
Yeah.
possibilities of bamboo, right? Like if you can make a joint in such a way that it doesn't feel like a craft,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
can you make a geometry that doesn't feel like bamboo?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
But still, it's bamboo.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make bamboo not bamboo, but
Uh-huh.
it's just like bamboo plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very interesting because remember you saying like, okay, we are learning what bamboo wants to be, how it wants to bend, and then I really love, and we were discussing that earlier. Like, okay, let's try and see what bamboo doesn't want to be.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
let's go all the way like in the opposite direction. But also that gives you enough answers
Yeah.
and enough knowledge about the material behavior because now you know what doesn't want to be,
Yeah.
like how it doesn't want to bend and what's the limitations of the material and
Yeah.
all of that. Like,
Yeah.
I believe that it's important also to learn and about the material ones we're working with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's super hands-on, of course. So for us, I think we have a decent. I mean, we like to say that as architects, there's only so few ingredients you can work with. Meaning, a cook has so many different flavors, but an architect, indeed, you said it has. We have stone, metal, concrete. There's
Yeah.
a few. It's like 7 ingredients, so to say, and now we're learning an 8th ingredient. I think we have very decent knowledge of all these other material systems and their logics and everything. And I think this is an incredible crash course for us into bamboo. So to catch up on the other
Yeah.
knowledge we have. The learning of all the different types and their different qualities, and I think there's much more learning still to be done, so to say. Sort of, it's very nice to work with a carpenter and say, well, you have the wrong pole because you have a thicker, wall, or like that sort of thinking is really interesting. And I think there's obviously we just dipped our toe in the water. There's much more to learn, but I think the hands-on aspect of it, you know, is like leads to very like quick learning, so to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
expedited learning.
What I find about bamboo working with it these days is that, like a glass is uniformed.
Uh-huh.
Steel, alloy, more or less is always uniformed, right? Like, and wood, most species are quite uniform. The bamboo has already an architectural structures
Yeah.
in itself, right? Like it has an inner layer that's soft,
Yeah.
outer layer that's different material, it's the silica and fiber, so they already behave
And it has knots.
differently, and it has the knots
Yeah.
that also behaves differently.
They're,
So in a way,
they're exactly in the wrong place, of course. Yeah. And yeah.
no, but I mean, like it's a structure in itself already,
Yeah.
right? So like, how do you really collaborate with it is interesting. Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, like in your practice at your office in New York, okay, first of all, like how many people work at the office?
We have about 20 people.
20 people.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, like, once you come up with the idea, okay, let's learn about bamboo, like, are they interested in bamboo? Are they curious to learn about new materials? Because at the end, I believe that it's it's a lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
You can go with the excitement of we just learned something new. But I'm curious to see, like, maybe there are like people from different parts of the world,
Yeah.
but being in New York in that context, that sounds, at least for me, like so far away from what we're doing here, and then going and then saying, okay, let's work with bamboo.
We have
what's
a
your
very
take on it?
patient team, and but also a team that I think they've been with us for a while, and they appreciate the unpredictability of working in our practice. So obviously there's firms that repeat themselves and they build sort of deep knowledge in a location or in a material or in a type. For us, every project we try to find something new and different, and I think that's exciting for the people that work in our office. But it does mean suddenly they're on a plane to a different part of the world, or they have to immerse themselves in a different material. But yeah, I think I think they enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
If they don't know necessarily what will come tomorrow, but I think that's the fun of
Yeah.
working with us. Yeah.
I think we're gonna bring this a few objects back,
Yeah.
and then just get them excited
Yeah.
about working.
We'll
with it.
see how it finds itself through the practice. I mean, we might have an opportunity there in Costa Rica, so we're going to try to see how and in what scale it finds its way into the practice. But somewhere it will appear.
It might be a pavilion first.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, sometimes going small, even like just with an object or a
Exactly.
pavilion, it can be like something more doable.
I think we have one problem that we always want to pioneer something, but there is already so much pioneering that has happened in bamboo. Meaning, I think we have to catch up quite a bit to see if we can do something different. Meaning, I think a lot of the things that we showed yesterday also, certainly with the fabric, right? They're pretty at the forefront of where that technology is. And so I think for us, it's going to be interesting to see what we can contribute basically to that what is already there.
Yeah. And what would be like the first thing, like besides, I mean, here in Bali, it's a lot of craft. It's a lot of like just attention to detail and all of that. But from your point of view, also like being in that context of a big city, New York, etc., what would be like the first approach on something that you can say, okay, this is pioneering with bamboo? Like any thought?
I'm thinking maybe there's like one part of the building where it could be applied. I mean, Jing showed yesterday this housing project in Brooklyn, which has this inner courtyard, which has this sort of net, that is one part of the building, but it is very bespoke, but quite unique. I could imagine that there's like one aspect within a project that suddenly, has this presence. And I'm interested in thinking about verticality because, bamboo, except for the scaffolds in Hong Kong, right? But generally it's roofs or it is like single story sort of pavilion type. And I think what is interesting, we have the opportunity to working with buildings that have, sometimes multi-story, sometimes 20 stories. And what would be sort of a vertical presence of it rather than this sort of, there's a lot of shells, there's a lot of domes, there's a lot of roofs, and so maybe there's something actually in the verticality that we can explore as well. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Meaning, I don't know where it has been applied at like I don't know, 15 floors. I don't know if you have any example. Not 15 stories of structural bamboo, but maybe the application is much more, you know, it sort of finds its way up in the city away from the ground. I don't know if there's examples of that, but that would be one idea to bring
Yeah.
it sort of up in the building.
Yeah.
And not as a hat, just as a funny hat, but basically more
From the ground
yeah,
all the way
through.
up.
I don't know
Yeah.
how. Yeah.
I mean, like, you have the limitations of the length of the bamboo
Yeah.
and like the usable length of those pieces, but
Yeah.
also that can be used in favor. Like if you start thinking about verticality,
Yeah.
okay, how you can increase the strength on that length.
Yeah.
If you're able to bring that material, treat that material in just one piece and bring it on site, and then just overlapping,
Exactly.
you come to the idea of joineries and how to overlap the material. And I think that part is where technology and people that are not like fully into bamboo construction, that's where, for example, you guys can come up with some new ideas
Yeah.
of
But counterintuitive.
how to join these pieces. Like for example, it was very interesting. Yesterday we were talking about coating, and then you say like, yeah, why don't we put like just wax for shoes? And I never thought about that. Like I like something that you can like just come up with some these cool ideas. So for verticality, that could work. And
Well, I think the idea of verticality, the challenge where the possibility of verticality and the urban are kind of separate. Because I could imagine us maybe in some rural settings experiment with very tall structures,
yeah,
right? But that wouldn't replicate itself or transfer itself into building in the city, because I think the fire resistance, fire, coating, that's one of the most probably biggest challenge of a
Yeah.
bamboo,
Yeah.
because when we're talking about material efficiency,
yeah,
it kind of immediately getting to fire hazard, right? Like anything material, even metal, when it's
Yeah.
thin, it just goes up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
flames, right? So I think, how do we think about material efficiency, but also, fire protection? So I think in the urban settings, probably it's more about bamboo's combination with other materials, because I don't think it would do everything.
Yeah.
But how do you combine bamboo with concrete? How do you combine bamboo
Yeah.
with
Metal.
metal and other, like maybe dimensional lumbers, right?
Yeah.
Like in such a way that bamboo is not decorative,
Yeah.
but it's a really part
Yeah.
of the building system,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's doing the things it's best at, right? Like
Yeah, I think that's another way of pioneering, like in different countries that the regulations are a little bit more strict, or they have problems with earthquakes and typhoons, etc. Like just combining structure. Like in Taiwan, there's some good examples of concrete structures holding fish belly trusses for a massive auditorium with a compression ring in the center made out of steel.
Yeah.
And the
exactly.
combination of all those elements with very thin bamboo poles and very nice engineering details, that's something that can pioneer as well.
exactly.
And I'm curious as well to see, after the course, what would be a first project that you want to use bamboo?
We don't know yet. Maybe a roof.
A roof.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a roof
Where?
in Japan.
In
maybe.
Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
And
fine.
maybe a tower.
I think Costa Rica, we might have some opportunity as well. So we'll see. I think we need to also get our clients to come along, of course. So
Yeah.
it is like, maybe we start drip feeding them a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Try to get them. But I think there's an opportunity there. So, and in Japan, we would do it ourselves. So, but the
It
problem
will
there,
be more of a research.
the problem there is, of course, combs.
Yes.
So we'll need to see. I don't know. I mean, I showed this project maybe, but to somebody else already. There is a very interesting grid shell structure in Japan with spray-on concrete on top. So it uses this sort of lattice from the 70s. It's still standing. It was really, pioneered. So there's a history and there's some precedent, but it will be a conversation we would need to have with the local authorities.
Yeah.
of how to implement it. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Looking forward
it's
to see that.
it's we don't know yet. It's not a direct. We didn't come here. Some people maybe come here like to learn and then to immediately
Yeah.
apply. But I think for us, this is really just out of a sort of a deep curiosity
Yeah.
and I think a desire to really expand the palette, because indeed I think we've since there's only so many flavors,
Yes.
it's interesting
Uh-huh.
to add some
Yeah,
very spicy or flexible new flavor
Yeah.
to the mix. Yeah.
And speaking about clients, because I mean, we need clients to be able to do projects. Otherwise, we're like just self-funding or finding an exhibition or something like that. But
Yeah.
when it comes for clients that they want to build their own house or a hotel or something, what do you guys think that is like 3 fears that they have when you suggest like bamboo for some
Durability, fire.
fire,
Money, cost.
money, cost?
Yeah.
Which I think is most of the same aspects if you are working with wood or
Yeah.
It
the
takes
Maybe
unknown,
fire.
precedence.
but the unknown is
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really takes precedence. I mean, it takes
Yes, right.
showing, and I think that's what is amazing about all the work that's being done here. It's like broadcasting, and hopefully we can help a little bit with that as well.
Yeah.
And who knows? Yeah.
Yes.
It always grows over time. It's not like a thing that just happens at once. Maybe bamboo grows faster than the bamboo industry, so to say. Yeah.
That's a good quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Looking forward for those projects.
Yeah.
And maybe
I'm sure
At the end of the course.
we will report back, and I'm sure we're going to
Yes.
be in touch throughout the years. So
yeah.